Alrighty, so we are back, and today I want to go over the World Tournament mode for Dokkan. More specifically, the August 22nd version of the World Tournament and the best units and teams that you should be using. Now, I have a source here on Twitter that is a very trusted World Tournament player in terms of just like it being reputable and credible for running the optimal strategy. And this is courtesy of Lotad_ here over on Twitter. If you want to follow them, I will leave a link in the pinned comment or just the description, I think probably. It's easier to do the description because then I don't have to go back and do it later. That's like, I always forget to do that. That's the problem, right? So I will leave a link in the description if you want to follow Lotad over on Twitter. Again, a multi-time World Tournament winner. So a credible source for what you need to be doing. Now, what I like to do for these videos is go over the units themselves, the teams, and then we will get in and show you a sample run of gameplay. So in case you don't know what you're doing in the mode, I can help slow it down for you and kind of give you examples of things that you need to be doing. So with that being said, if that all sounds interesting to you and you are curious of the World Tournament mode and what to do, the rewards from it, stay tuned because that is what we are going to be doing today. So first and foremost, we need to go over the teams themselves. Now, the best team, again, courtesy of a World Tournament winner, a multi-time World Tournament winner, right now is this setup right here, and you guys can see it is the one on the top. There are two here, but the one on the top is the one I want you to put into focus. We have AGL Gogeta from the 10-year anniversary, and this is for his leader skill of successors mainly, and Pure Saiyans being a 200% for these different things. You're getting the highest amount of damage possible with all these characters on this leader skill right here. Then we have Intma Jr. If you have this character, he is a must run. If you need to alter the team to make sure that he is getting damage, go ahead and do that, right? That is an absolute essential. You need to have this Ma Jr. I'm sorry, if you don't have this Ma Jr., then, you know, it's going to be a little bit slower. But if you do have this Ma Jr., that's what I'm trying to say, you absolutely must run him in this event. This is not up for debate. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is a character you are running. Now, somebody else. STR Piccolo. This is a very fast AoE unit and an orb changer as well. So you're going to be finding him often doing the AoEs when you need them. It's going to be a very good process for you. Then you have three more AoE characters here. This Vegeta links up very well with Nappa and Vegeta, and then this Broly is going to be guaranteed to do 2 AoEs essentially if you get the double super with him. Then this Vegeta, again, is not here to do damage. He's not here to tank. He's not here to like do anything like that. He is simply here to help us, right? He is simply here to give us this leader skill. Now, when it comes to who you should be running as a friend lead, this is going to be something essential later on. We're going to be running another Ma Jr. because the friend lead does not count to the overall leader skill of the team. So you just want to bring another Ma Jr. Now, the other version of this team that you could potentially run will be this right here for team cost. This will be helpful as well for you. You want to just try and get that as high as possible, and this will be good. Now, if we go over here, there is multiple for this right here. If you need to use a different strategy because you may be missing some of the characters over here, here is another potential setup you could run. This is one based on the Ma Jr. leader skill, which will work absolutely fine. And again, it is like the same core, but then you are going to be bringing Majin Vegeta and Future Gohan. The caveat with Majin Vegeta is you are more than likely going to need to use AGL orb changing items, and that will be the Chilai item, and then you'll also want to bring some key up items like Shu, as well as like the Fruit of the Tree of Might. This is going to help you in the long run for what you are looking for. And now, Future Gohan as well. This is also just for like the team cost and like the seed meta. This is what they talk about. I'm not going to get too much into that for the thread here, but when it comes to characters that you should not be using, and I had this up originally, Tech Broly you want to avoid, Int Broly you want to avoid. I'm not sure why you need to avoid Bulma. She's not an AoE. You don't want to bring Jocko for the sake of the team cost and I guess the seed, if you will. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm not like a heavy World Tournament grinder, but I do know the best team to run courtesy of this right here, and I'm relaying the information. And then this Golden Frieza for the damage reduction. You want to avoid this as well as the Ginyus, right? So this is the setups that you want to be running. Now, when it comes to alternative characters, you just need to be looking for anybody with an AoE, right? Free-to-play Int Raditz is a good option. If you are desperate, Omega Shenron can be ran. We talked about that earlier. And then if we look right here, we according to Lotad here, we should not be using Omega because he is slow because of his active skill. You're going to have to watch that active skill go every time, and you're not going to be using that active skill in the fight, so you just want to avoid doing that. Then he has Rainbow Orb changing. This is just going to slow you down. So if you're trying to go as fast as possible, you should be avoiding these characters. Now, when it comes to alternatives, like I said, Super EZA STR Broly, I think is a really good character for this mode. We think about Tree of Might Goku. We talked about him earlier. What we really could do is, where is the old Dokkan info, right? Broly, again, STR Broly, I think is a really good option for an AoE. There's the STR Fat Boo is a good one. Physical Cell is like an emergency sort of AoE that you could potentially run. That is sort of what we are looking to do here. So that is it for the alternatives and the teams that you need to be using. Again, these are the best teams that you should be running in here. And if you need any help with alternatives, you can let me know in the comment section below or join the community Discord, and that will also help you. But now that we've gotten all that out of the way and what to do, let's go ahead and go through a sample run that you can rinse and repeat yourselves. Now, what I was trying to do when I was recording that was set up the team itself, but we will go over it really quickly again. So for our leader skill, we are going to be running AGL Gogeta. I know mine is rainbowed, but it doesn't matter, right? He sucks in modern content anyway, so it's not even a flex, really. Extreme Int, we are going to go down here, and we are going to pick up the homie Majunior. Again, the GOAT, if you have him, you must run him. This is not up for debate. Next, we need to put the Super STR Piccolo on here. So if we filter this down and go to the EZAs, we're going to put Piccolo on the team. Then we are going to go over here and add the Broly, the Vegeta, and then the Nappa Vegeta. So Nappa and Vegeta are, why can't I see them? They are right here. Then we have to run the Broly. So Broly is right here. And then we need Great Ape Vegeta. So we now have set up the entire team for what we're going to need for the World Tournament. Now we're going to go over into the mode right here. You guys can see there's 2 days remaining when I'm recording this, but that doesn't really matter. So we go in here, and with 2 days remaining, that means I have plenty of time, because in my opinion, all you need to do is get the missions you want to get and then get out. In my opinion, it is not worth it to grind the leaderboards. I don't think these rewards are nearly worth it at this point, but if you want to grind it, you can grind it. But honestly, I don't think I would recommend it. So I know this isn't Japanese, but you will be able to get this sort of idea if I could find the missions, for crying out loud. This is what happens when you play JP. But if we go over here, essentially all we need to do to max out our rewards is get 30 million points and win 20 in a row. So that's really not that hard, and it's very easy to get the rewards from doing this. So now that we understand that, what we want to do is come down here to the ×30 multiplier. This is, again, when you're using the best team, it's going to make it very easy. Now that we've gotten to the ×30 multiplier, we have 4 stages that we need to play. Then we can continue to move on. Now, this is going to be the preliminary. This is the most annoying part of the entire run, because we have to fight 4 teams. So turn support memories off. That's only going to slow us down. And then we are going to bring a few items just in case we need them. That is going to be the Ghost Usher item. We are going to bring a Fruit of the Tree of Might, and then we are going to bring a shoe item. It is the dog from the Pilaf gang. So you want to go ahead and bring that. And these 3 items should be all you need. I guess if you're in an emergency situation, a King Yema doesn't hurt as well. But now what we want to do is go into here, and then if we refresh it, you guys can see it's giving us a fused fighter lead. We don't want that. We want another Majunior. So we are going to go to Extreme Int like this. Again, the second box here, and then the third in the middle there. And then we are going to scroll down to the Namekians one, which on my game is the 4th in the green. And this is going to set us up with our Majuniors. And if you have Majunior, be a pal and set him as your friend lead for this weekend. That'll be very helpful for your friends and other people playing the mode. Now, we have double Majunior like this, and we can go ahead and hop into the mode. Now, again, this is going to be extremely simple when it comes to the gameplay. There is not much thought that goes into this whatsoever. All we're doing, and this is a situation here, I'm glad this happened because sometimes this will happen. On the we have 2 Majuniors and we did not get 1 on the opening rotation. So what I like to do is play it safe, and in this case, we're not going to need to because Vegeta is going to one-shot the board. But what we could potentially do is pop an Usher there to ensure that we do not take any hits. Now, with this Vegeta and Nappa character, we are going to want to make sure that we are not getting the 18 key because the AoE is on the 12 key super attack. So just keep in mind the board that you need to be like making sure that you avoid doing that. Is it the end of the world? No, but sometimes these things happen. I don't know what this guy is running here. This is a movie hero setup. I don't know what he's doing, but it doesn't really matter. So long as we are getting the most amount of points per run and we're doing this, it is going to be fine. And if you are confused on what to run, maybe you need some help and you don't know what to run, it's not a bad idea to just look at what your opponent is running, right? Like what people are doing. And sometimes you can just tell, it's like, oh, okay, that's what this guy is doing. I have those characters, and they're all AoE units. Let me go ahead and look at those, right? The STR Fat Boo, that's an extremely good example. We talked about him earlier. If you want to run characters that potentially bring some support to make your characters hit harder, somebody like Physical Kid Boo isn't a horrible option. But what I'm trying to show you is my cord unplugging, but is just the meta sort of viability for this team, right? The best possible, most points per run setup here is what we are going for in this specific video. So that is why I'm focusing so heavily on that. So this is what you're going to be doing essentially, right? Swiping up with Majunior, and then when you don't have him, putting Vegeta slot 1, putting Nappa in Vegeta slot 1, popping a Ghost Usher if you need to. If you don't get the 18 key with Vegeta, potentially use a Fruit of the Tree of Might, use a shoe item, whatever you need to do to get it done. So that is how we are going to be operating essentially for the rest of the weekend, right? Now, players seem to like to be dramatic and overblow how long this truly takes and the process for it, right? The only time, in my opinion, that this mode becomes unbearably boring and like to the point where you just feel like, you know, you're not enjoying the game and you don't like it anymore is when you're doing that leaderboard grind and you are going for the whole weekend just doing this. Because in reality, to get all the missions done, you absolutely don't need to play all weekend. You got to sit down and devote maybe like a couple hours, right? I didn't mean to start that without Majunior, but that's okay. You really don't need to devote your entire weekend to this mode unless you are somebody that wants to grind, by all means. But if you're somebody just trying to pick up the mode and figure out how it works and get the rewards, just go to 30 million points. You don't need to go all the way up to like as far as you can possibly go. I think that's very stone. It's not efficient on your stones. You're going to run out of them from doing stamina refreshes. Not as fast as you would from doing the Popo event, but you're still just wasting stones on stuff like that. At least with the Popo event, you're link leveling your characters, you're ranking up, you're leveling up your LRs potentially, right? With this, you're just hunting for extra rewards and a little bit of credibility and just some extra rewards on the leaderboard. And at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you get there and then we move on, right? So you don't have to dedicate your whole weekend to playing this mode. So just keep that in mind, right? It's a pretty simple process where it just takes a few minutes to do the runs, and by the end of it, you have to do about 30. So it's going to take you anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours over the course of the weekend. If you sit down and just play it for an hour today, you play it for an hour tomorrow, you play it for an hour the next day, you should be good to go. I will be live streaming this later, so if you want to come hang out and play it with me, if you play it with me the whole time, you'll get it done. So that is one way to look at it. So this is just, again, this is going to be the process here. It's just all about, and it is ironic that we're like barely getting the Majunior active skill in this video, but really what we want is like most of the time we are going to be getting this Majunior active skill and he is going to decimate the field and you're going to be good to go. So that is the gist for World Tournament. Again, I'll go over some alternatives here at the end. Just so you guys understand when we're done with this, how you want to go about it. And in the tweet that I showed, Lotad provided the characters that you should be avoiding, right? The Broly AoEs, especially Tech Broly, he moves painfully slow because of his active skill. Characters that are doing non-damaging active skills that are not doing an AoE on that active skill are characters that you want to avoid because you're just slowing down. The core principle of this mode is how do I save as much time as possible and get through as many runs in a short period? And the answer to that question is by doing the Majunior strategy, right? By using the optimal characters to score the most amount of points. That way you have to do the fewest amount of runs. And then another factor of it comes down to the bonus rewards, right? Sometimes you're going to get bonus chances against teams that have like bonus points. They go down super easy. It's a good old time, right? But this should be all you need for this weekend for World Tournament. The teams that you need. When it comes to alternatives, I'll just quickly kind of look through the extreme class characters because that's where most of the AoEs are at, and that should be good to go. Now, if you want to do like the lazy man strategy, if you will, I can sort of show you this cord, man. It's driving me nuts today. But a potential strategy. I'm not sure how many newer players are going to have this because the physical Broly character that I'm about to look at really isn't on banners anymore. So you guys can see that was the first World Tournament run, and we got done a lot of the missions just on that run initially. So go to here until you're comfortable. Usually I stop at 23 million because that's really like after the tickets and stones, that's all I really care about. If you are somebody that needs Kais, I'd recommend doing this, but you don't have to in theory, but just keep that in mind. So when it comes to alternatives, right, characters that we talked about earlier, most of them are going to be extreme class focused. Again, Omega is like a last ditch effort, like AoE character. If you absolutely need to use him, you can. Omega Shenron is somebody you can use, but it is going to slow you down. Majin Vegeta, we talked about him as an alternative. And if we go down here, Physical Broly is also another very good AoE character from the Broly movie back in the day. This old guy right here is a very nice alternative for you as well. And if we go up to the Super EZA section, this guy is a decent AoE for you. And where is Mr. Boo? This guy right here is a decent AoE, right? It's just there are more modern characters that do it a little bit better. But if you are going for like the lazy man run where you barely even want to look at the screen, make sure you're always bringing a friend Jr. But this was like the classic setup back in the day. You would run this Broly. What you could potentially do is bring, so it's a movie bosses setup, right? So if we go to movie bosses, we do this, and then we set it up like this. We bring this Broly, we bring Turles for the support, so that way we just have this extra support right here. Then probably, I forget the last unit you want to do on this, but you would want to bring just another AoE character, right? Who's somebody that I would bring in this? It would just be like another support or another AoE character, so it would be something like this. Not that guy. You bring this, and then we have all of these different Brolys going at the same time, and then what you want to do is go over to your SSR tab, bring this Chaozu, and then bring this Jocko. Lotad suggested you avoid that, but if you really want to run like the team there, you never are really going to have to use items other than Ghost Ushers every once in a blue moon. This is the setup that you could potentially run. It's a very lazy way to do it. But because Jocko and Chaozu stun the enemies at the beginning, it is a way for you to sort of bypass having to use items. But that's all I got for you in this one. Let me know down below how you're feeling. How are you doing this World Tournament? What are you grinding it to? And all of that fun stuff in the comment section below. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you in this one. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new so that we don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.